So in this video, I'm going to go over the difference between an abandoned cart and an abandoned checkout. Now, you're probably wondering what the difference is because of the way I've worded it. And the reason why I'm leading with this is because it's oftentimes like very confusing when people actually go ahead in Klaviyo and go ahead and build out these abandoned cart flows. So the reason why it's confusing is because a lot of brands they'll go into Klaviyo and they'll see stuff like this. Like let's just say you're on Shopify. So Shopify is the most common app like to use for your like websites, and what they'll see here when they go to like configure an abandoned cart is they're gonna go ahead and type cart. So we just go to flows and we just hit create a flow, and then you get all these different flows here. What they're thinking and what I've seen across all of my prospects and clients is that they'll see that these are their options for an abandoned cart. They had WooCommerce before, they'll see WooCommerce as well. But as you see here, you see that there's two types of abandoned carts. There's an abandoned cart reminder and an abandoned cart reminder. Now, the first instinct when you are on Shopify as a brand owner is you're going to go ahead and choose Shopify. You don't even understand what this gear is. This says Shopify and it just has a gear. So the first instinct is you go here to abandoned cart reminder and you go ahead and choose this option right here. Now, I'm going to just tell you guys that this is the abandoned checkout. So even if we click right here, you'll see when someone checkout started. So just to summarize this in the best way possible, the abandoned checkout is very, very different than the abandoned cart. It's actually much different. Now there are similarities, but it's completely different. So if we click here, abandoned cart reminder, you'll see a when somebody checkout started. Now if we go ahead and click, where is it, right here, you'll see when someone added to cart. You see, but they're titled the exact same thing within Klaviyo. And this is a very, very, very misleading thing that Klaviyo has. They've had it for years now. I'm not sure why they changed it, but these are completely different flows. And the reason why they're so important is because we're converting thousands and thousands and thousands, like hundreds of thousands of revenue from the abandoned cart and the abandoned checkout. Why? Because these are completely different demographics of people. In these videos, I like to talk about the principles. And what we're basically looking at within these flows is that the people who are abandoning their cart are a lot different than the people who are abandoning checkout. So when somebody is abandoning checkout, they were literally on the brink of purchasing. We need to figure out why that person actually went ahead and abandoned checkout when they're literally about to make a purchase. The people who abandon cart, they're kind of like more up the customer funnel. And if we click right here, it kind of proves my point even further, where if we click just some random like funnel on Google, we'll see like the visit homepage, we'll see the browse category, we'll see view product, and you'll see add to cart, but you don't see like a checkout. Like it's just completely neglected. Now, like I said, there are similarities between the abandoned cart and the abandoned checkout, but these are still very, very different audiences. Because when you go into Shopify, when you go into like any type of like web host online store, you get to add to cart, and then you don't even have to go to checkout. So those are two different like demographics we need to talk to. So it's very, very critical that you guys understand that these are very, very different types of people that we're communicating with. And so they deserve their respective different flows. So in this video, I wanted to really cover that because like a lot of brands don't even have an abandoned cart in place. And it's losing them hundreds of thousands of dollars every single year, millions maybe, because they don't have this in place. So how do you go ahead and create an abandoned cart, and how do you go ahead and create an abandoned checkout? It's actually very, very easy. So we can go over here to Klaviyo, and even within their articles, this is an article that was updated November 14th, 2023, how to create an abandoned cart flow. And in their just like examples, they'll show a checkout flow. This is when somebody started checkout. They don't show like the cart, like which we just talked about. So you need to just be very, very, very wary of just like how there's misleading information out there. So we're gonna go ahead and let's just choose a standard abandoned cart reminder. This is an abandoned cart reminder, and the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna like get rid of all this, and we're gonna hit abandoned checkout because this is abandoned checkout. So we'll hit create flow, and while this loads up, it's gonna go ahead and give us like this preview right here. Now, for the sake of this video, we won't go into SMS, but essentially this is how kind of like an abandoned checkout would actually look. Now, there's a recent UI update for Klaviyo, so bear with me here, but this is basically telling us when somebody starts checkout, it's going to wait 4 hours, and based on these conditions, so somebody can receive SMS, they're going to get this SMS message, and in this scenario, they're going to go ahead and get an email, and then after they get these messages, they're going to wait 20 hours, and they're going to go ahead and get this email right here. So this is an example of an abandoned checkout. So when somebody is actually going through this funnel, they're basically right here, not in the add to cart, but they're going to be like right here within the actual customer journey. So when they're right here, we're sending them emails that are kind of appealing to that demographic. So these are people who are probably concerned about shipping, why they abandoned checkout. They're probably concerned about price. They're probably concerned about maybe they got distracted. There's a number of reasons why somebody actually went ahead and abandoned checkout here. So our job is basically to go ahead and speak to these people in a certain way and give them a certain offer, if applicable, to go ahead and make them, actually buy and make a purchase. And so if you're wondering how long do my abandoned checkouts have to be, you need to actually just continue to add to these. If you are continuously generating revenue within these flows, you would not stop. But it makes no sense to stop sending emails. Because if you had a machine, let's just say you had a machine that's you're putting $1 in and it gives you $2 back, you would not stop putting, your money into that machine because it's giving you, $2 back for every dollar you put in. So the same thing applies for your flows. If we see some revenue here, if you show analytics, this is just a draft. If we see that we're converting like thousands of people here, and let's just say 3,000 people here, we wouldn't just stop adding to this flow. We would go ahead and drag this and create another email because we want to keep converting people within these actual emails. So a lot of people are just wondering, how long should our flows be? They should be as long as they are performing. So that's basically the best way to summarize, how to actually go about your flows is just like if they're making you revenue, you keep actually adding to them. And if they're not making you revenue, you troubleshoot them. So in a very common example, we go ahead and keep adding to these. Let's just say on email 5, we keep adding to these. Email 5, we see a big drop off. So we'll basically go ahead and troubleshoot email 5. We'll probably change the offer. We'll probably add an offer. We'll probably talk more about shipping and our pricing. And within email 5, this is basically just to troubleshoot, why people will actually drop off here. Because what happens is you get thousands of people going through your flows, but those thousands of people don't actually convert. So our job is basically to go ahead and make sure that these people actually convert, because they abandoned checkout. They were very, very warm. They were literally about to make a purchase. So we need to have a way to actually go ahead and have them convert. So that's exactly what we do within these abandoned checkout emails. And just like I said before, if you're confused about content, just simply think about your customer. You should have a very, 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 very spot on understanding of your customer. And you should be basically putting yourself in their shoes. Like, why would I go ahead and go to checkout and make that journey all the way to checkout and just abandon checkout? Why would your customer actually go ahead and do that? Why would they do that? And once you just go ahead and do that thought process of why they would do it, it's probably because of our shipping. Maybe it's because our website is loading too slow. Maybe it's because we don't actually put free shipping, even though we actually do give free shipping. You have to be thinking about all these things when you go ahead and build this out. And once you understand all those principles, it's just very, very easy to actually go ahead and configure these. Because at that point, you're just basically adding, email 3, and in email 3 you talk about shipping. Email 4 you talk about how you're giving them a special offer because they were right about to make a purchase, and you just want to go ahead and help them make that purchase, give them that extra push. So that's what we're doing in these flows. We're not reinventing the wheel. We're not doing something revolutionary. We're simply taking something that's working and adding to them. And also, if they're not working, we're going to go ahead and troubleshoot them. So that's basically how we add to these flows and how we're actually adding content within these flows. Because you don't want to talk about every single thing within email 1. You want to actually go ahead and talk just about one specific thing. So this is what it's called, the abandoned cart, but this is actually abandoned checkout. So we go ahead and change this to abandoned cart. So if we hit edit right here, you can go ahead and just change this to abandoned checkout, right? And if we go over here within the actual email, you'll see that it gives us kind of a preview. So if we hit preview right here, it's going to go ahead and give us a preview of our product, right in this area. This is probably blurred out, but it's just an idea of what you guys should be expecting to look at when you actually create these actual emails. Now, this will be configured and look a lot better in your case, but in this case, this is just a Klaviyo preview that's just going to pop up for us. This is basically what a customer sees. And that's pretty much how we're actually, creating these abandoned checkout emails. Now, how do we actually, create an abandoned cart, right? So we're going to go over here to the abandoned cart. So with the abandoned cart, it's going to be just a little bit more technical. Now, it's very, very easy. But again, the reason why we actually want to, make the abandoned cart is because we want to be converting people at a different level. So if we go over here to cart in our flows, so you're going to see this is the one you want to select. And as you see here, we have this already integrated within Shopify. So we have this and we're able to actually create it. If you don't have this in place, then you can just go ahead and just keep watching this video. But basically, you won't have this option if you don't have it set up already. So when you go ahead and create ads, in an add to cart flow, you need this event. It's called the added to cart. And it's going to really depend from brand to brand because every single website is different. But all we're doing is we're basically taking a snippet that Klaviyo has, and I'm going to link this below in the description because every brand is different. Every brand has a different website. But basically, you're taking the snippet. So this is an example of a universal snippet that Klaviyo has. This one, in my experience, hasn't worked for the brands that I've worked with. But you want to take this snippet. So let's just go ahead and just take this one, for example. So we're going to go ahead and copy this. We're going to do this. Let's see if we just get this like that. And copy this. And you're going to go over here to your brand, Shopify website. So how this looks is you go to online store. You go ahead and click these three dots right here. And you hit edit code. You go to your theme.liquid, just like it says in the instructions right here. And then in your theme.liquid, you have to paste it like right above this HTML body section right here. Now this is going to look very, very different. Just like I said before, it's going to look very different based on what you guys have within your actual Shopify website. But basically, it's always going to be the same. Like the instructions are always going to be here for you guys. So it's just something to refer to. But basically, you're pasting this snippet after all the code before the closing body tag. So it's actually right here. So it gives us an example. So HTML body right after right here. So we went from the bottom, so it's going to be like after, but basically it's saying just put it right here, right? So as you see right here, this is the body, and essentially we go ahead and just paste in that snippet. But obviously I'm not going to do that because this is the actual website. And then you go ahead and add this if product right here. So this code right here, you're going to add it above. Let's just paste this again. And this is the script right here. So if we compare this script to the window.add events, this is the snippet that we actually added. So we go ahead and take this, if it lets me. I'm gonna copy that, put it under this script, just like it shows us, like right here. And then we add end if, like right under the snippet. So right here. And then you go ahead and hit save. But I have to preface this by saying that it's always just going to look very different. Like if you're looking at this, you're probably very, very intimidated by this. And I have to say that as long as you follow this exactly how it's put out, you won't run into any issues. Now, you actually will run into issues if you actually paste it in incorrectly. But the reason why this is here is because it works across, if this doesn't work for you, if this snippet doesn't work, then it gives us the other options right here. So this is a snippet for number 2, and this is another snippet for number 3. So this number 3 is usually a snippet that works. Like in my experience, this one works best. So how this looks is if we go over here to, if we copy this right here, we go ahead and we put it right above the body right here. And the next thing that we do is we go over here to our website, just like it says, open up, right click on your add to cart button and select inspect. So we go over here to our add to cart button, we hit inspect. And what we're looking at is by class. So if we go over here to class equals this right here. So our class equals product-form underscore cart submit. This is basically the one that we want. This is what we need right here. So what you do is you basically copy this. You go ahead and just take the quotes as well, like that. And then since you pasted that in already, you have to make sure that you actually paste it in for this add to cart, right? So just like it says right here, it needs to say get elements by class name, and then has the snippet 3 that you basically, not the snippet 3, but the actual class that you copied. So this is by class, right? So you go ahead and paste this in right here. That's how it looks, and then you'd hit save. But before you hit save, make sure you add the end if section right here. So end if goes above. So it goes above, right here. And then the end if goes right here. Now, that's pretty much how you set up the actual abandoned cart. As long as you follow these steps within this article, and you actually reach out to Klaviyo support, they'll basically help you guys, kind of walk you guys through how to actually do this within your website. Every single website's different, so there's really no one size fits all. What, in my experience, this is what works right here. So this snippet 3, it works very, very well. I would just go ahead and choose this one, and then if it doesn't work, try the universal one, this one, and basically go ahead and paste that in and then just try it out. Once you go ahead and put that in, you'll basically unlock the add to cart metric, and then you can go ahead and hit create flow. And this is how it look. So now we have people who have, like, when somebody added to cart, as opposed to when somebody actually, checkout started. So this is very, very different than the other one. And in this case, we'd basically be sending them emails about, cart, like, why'd you guys abandon your cart? We save this cart for you, and then we go ahead and just send this here. Then in email 2, we basically go ahead and talk about shipping, or like, give them testimonials, different types of reviews from our customers. And we basically just go ahead and keep reminding them over and over and over again, and change up the content as well. We don't want to say the same thing within the emails, so it's not repetitive. So essentially, we go ahead and just be sending them just like we were with the abandoned checkout, right? So that's pretty much the end of this video. And just like I said with the abandoned checkout, you want to keep adding to these. You want to keep configuring them and troubleshooting them so that they're continuously generating revenue, right? So let me go over here to the actual like metrics. So if we go over here to added to cart metric right here, you'll see that you have like a set amount of like add to cart events. When you're actually testing your add to cart, like when you configure your added to cart, you want to go to this section right here to see, if people are actually adding to cart. So basically it'll be 0 before you add it. And then when you see like, an added, like if you go ahead and you test it out on your end, like incognito mode, you can go ahead and hit add to cart within your website. And when that happens, you'll see a spike that somebody added to cart, which is basically you. And it says it within, if we go over here to testing, so you'd basically go ahead and copy this. Basically, you're replacing testing.email@gmail.com with your email address, basically putting this with your email address and basically reloading it. And then you hit the add to cart button and basically go ahead and populate an add to cart event right here for you guys. And once this happens, you'll know that you actually have the abandoned cart added to cart event in place, and you can go ahead and create it just like we have this flow already created already. So like I said, I'm going to include this below. Feel free to let me know if you have any other questions. If you need help configuring this, you can reach out to me as well, or just go ahead and do this yourself and test it out for yourself. And if you run into any issues, go ahead and reach out to Klaviyo support. They'll gladly help you guys out. And yeah, so hopefully that covered everything when it comes to the abandoned cart. It's very different from the abandoned checkout. Always understand where people are within the customer funnel. Don't trust this right here because it doesn't actually include the abandoned checkout. Always send abandoned checkout emails, and always understand that they're different from the abandoned cart emails. You want to have both of these flows in place, and then you will convert a lot of customers.